shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great.
Hello and welcome back to Beyond Your Wildest Genes podcast. My name is Dr. Noah DeCoyer and I am your co-host. Today our guest is Dr. Perry Nickelston. Dr. Perry is a chiropractic physician with special attention to performance enhancement, corrective exercise, and movement assessment. He's a member of the Board of Directors and Medical Staff Advisor for the AIMLA, which is the governing body for laser therapy education. He's the Chief Medical Officer for LightCure, a leading Class 4 deep tissue laser therapy company. Dr. Nickelston is certified and trained as a functional movement specialist and a selective functional movement assessment specialist. He is also a certified instructor for the functional movement scream, neurokinetic therapy, and a master instructor for rock tape kinesiology tape. He is the owner of Stop Chasing Pain, LLC, an educational information company empowering people to take back control of their life from pain. Dr. Nickelston is a creator of the Primal Movement Change Rail Reset System for health and fitness professionals. As a TRX suspension training sports medicine instructor for rehabilitation, he is a regular columnist for Dynamic Chiropractic, Live Strong, To Your Health magazine, and writes for industry publications in health and fitness. He is a 1997 graduate from Palmer Chiropractic University and a master fitness trainer with over 20 years of experience in the health industry. Hello, Dr. Perry. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great, Noah. Thanks for having me back on. I love the name of your podcast, first of all. It's so great.
Yeah, Dr. Mike nailed it. I'm so happy to hear your voice again. And, your presentation on the Pain Relief Project was so well received. So thank you again.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I'm so happy to hear that. And it's an honor for me to be invited back, without a doubt.
Excellent. Excellent. Now let's dive right in. Your tagline is Stop Chasing Pain. Can you explain that?
Sure, absolutely. Well, I mean, I want people to absolutely get treated for pain, right? I mean, so if something hurts, you should absolutely see somebody to help with that. He's a healthcare medical professional. But we also don't want to get caught up in chasing it, what I call down going many different rabbit holes. So over my years of being in treating people in pain, I got frustrated of just treating the site of pain where something hurts. So let's say, for instance, you come on in and your elbow hurts. So we want to treat the elbow, but I was getting frustrated of why just doing that was not giving me the results that I wanted to have with my clients and my patients, and they were getting frustrated because stuff would keep coming back. So I just began to delve a little bit deeper and start to ask, well, why does it hurt in the first place? Barring trauma and falling on it, most musculoskeletal injuries just kind of happen and pop up out of nowhere. And I was like, why is that? So that led me to the Stop Chasing Pain, is where we treat it, but we look everywhere else in the body for things that might have contributed to that area of pain. So, for instance, if your elbow hurts, a very common thing that people have is lateral epicondylitis, or what they call tennis elbow. It's a very difficult condition to treat. It can be very frustrating just to treat that area. So when people come in to see me, I treat the elbow, of course, but I watch them move, and then I see how the rest of the body is working with or not working with the elbow. And the majority of the time, I find it linked to something on the opposite side of the body. Usually it's your opposite side, hip and leg, and then your midsection, which connects the two parts of the body together whenever you move. So we treat both. And then when I started to do that, I began to have some amazing results and successes with my clients where they may have hit a plateau or a barrier and lost hope of feeling better. And I'm the kind of person that's like, if we're treating the area that hurts and it's just not getting any better, well, let's just kind of use some common sense here and look somewhere else. And when I did that, great things started to happen. That's pretty much how I came to that conclusion, through my own body and then working with clients for the last 15 years.
That's incredible. I love that. Now, a few days ago, I took a picture of your Instagram post at Stop Chasing Pain, and it said, "The simple fact is that all forms of movement make us healthier."
Yeah, absolutely. No, well, thank you very much, first of all, for following my page. I'm a little addicted to social media for sure, but definitely Instagram. It's probably my new favorite way of communicating my message and my love for helping others and through movement. And I think that's pretty much says it all. It's like, you know, every system or exercise program, you know, works for someone, and none is better than the other because every person is different. So my mission is to get people moving more in general. You know, moving better, of course, but that's a relative term because there's no such thing as perfect movement. I think a lot of people sometimes get intimidated by going into movement or exercise programs because they're looking to be perfect at it when they do it. You know, but Maciej Feldenkrais from the Feldenkrais method said there's no such thing as perfect movement, but there's always better movement. And then that's also just for you. You know, you can't compare your body to other people. But I've noticed even from my own body that, you know, over the years when I just started moving more outside, especially because I'm a big lover of moving and training outside in nature, that everything in my life got better, from my personal life to my business life and definitely my health. And that's the mind, body, spirit, right? I mean, we know they're all interconnected. And just to go out and take a simple walk is extremely powerful for people. And that's, if I can motivate somebody just to start walking a little bit more, to me, that's a win, because we sit way too much. And, you know, I always joke around that the chairs kill a couple of things. One, they kill your ass, which is, in our world, we call your glute, right? Because you're sitting on it. And two, they kill your psoas, which is a muscle in the front of your body that attaches to your spine, to your hip, that gets, you know, tight on people when they sit. And the third thing that it kills, in my opinion, is your soul. I mean, it just saps the life right out of you. So if I can do anything to get you up and out of a chair, that's a score, man. That's a win. And walking is one of the best ways to do that.
Well, two things. One, it's funny that you mentioned walking. I recently got a dog, and, you know, he's a little tough, so we bought in a dog trainer. And I was walking my dog incessantly just to get him to pee outside. And what I realized was that I was the one that wanted to go outside more than him. I just wanted to go out and walk because I just loved being outside so much. So one of the perks of having a dog is now that I get to go and walk him outside a little bit and be out even more than I already am. And two, you talked about sitting at a desk, and we all do that a lot. Even as a chiropractor, there's times of the day when I get stuck on my desk quite a bit. Are you a fan of stand-up desks and stand-up workstations?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's so nice to see them kind of making their way into our culture at work, and also in the classroom, which is the place I really want to get it in first, because, you know, we kind of set the benchmark for our youth later in life. You know, I mean, I could go for all day on how I dislike the way that the educational system is set up for movement and learning. So, I mean, we sit our children down on a desk all day long and tell them not to move. And then, you know, movement is actually the best way to enhance learning. I mean, your brain learns through movement and kinesthetic awareness and play, basically. And we eliminate that from the classroom. We eliminate that from the workforce. It's like no play, all business. And any of the most successful companies in the world that you read about, from Google and Zappos and all those things, they have a culture of play in their offices. And, you know, they have people up and moving and taking breaks and sitting on exercise balls, not at a desk, because it puts a stop on your brain on learning, but and your body. So it's really nice to see that. And if you don't have a stand-up desk, you know, then just get up periodically out of your seat and move. You know, stretch, walk, bend, twist, stuff like that. And then what you'll notice is usually people stare at you when you do that, because they're like, "What the hell is he doing over there?" And but you know, it's a culture, it's a human being thing, movement. You know, and when people see you doing it, they're gonna want to join you too. I mean, it's just very amazing when you see that you've formed this tribe or this group of people that are like, "Man, I mean, can I move with you?" It's just something that it links the human spirit and the human species together through movement, because that's what play is, right? I mean, think about some of the times you were the happiest in your life. You were playing. And who the hell says that play has got to be just for kids? The key to being happy and the key to being successful is you don't grow up.
You know what? You couldn't be more right. And when you talk about exercise and students perform well, I can remember years ago, I don't know if you ever read the book called Spark by, I think,
Oh, yeah.
Rattay. I mean, they did all those studies where they had kids exercising before class, and every one of them performed better on their tests.
It's true. Doing the studies now, but I mean, that's great. Common freaking sense, man. I mean, think about it, right? I mean, you're getting blood flow, you're getting oxygen going, you're getting your body. So whenever you hear something, when you want to try to learn it and absorb it, it's just to be able to do it. But yeah, I mean, the statistics are there that if you get these kids moving and involved, because first of all, they're bored out of their mind because you're giving them information that they can get anywhere. I mean, just jump on Google and they'll get the answer for what you're telling them. So it's not about the information anymore. The teacher is all the difference in the world. I mean, the teacher can spark you for your life, or they can totally shut it down. And then a word from a teacher, positive or negative, can scar you for life. So teachers have a way to shape our world by shaping our children. So now, but they're going the opposite. We're doing the opposite of that. It's all about the Common Core. It's all about this test, this stat. I mean, how can you prove to me that you know something? And then they take away the budget for physical activity and school, not realizing they should be going and running, the operative word, the totally opposite direction, but it's counterintuitive to academia.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And you mentioned stand-up desk or standing in school. I don't know a lot about it, but another functional movement specialist and physical therapist, Kelly Starrett, I'm pretty sure he's developing a program for kids in class and standing more. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm quite certain he is.
Yeah, he's got another book coming out, and a great pioneer for getting people to move better. You know, he's got wonderful work, really great person, and wonderful passion. And I think his new book is going to be on sitting. And, I think that that's something that is going to be good for everybody. If you're breathing on this planet, it's good to not sit, to get up. We weren't designed to sit. We were designed to move. And I really think that, that's linked to the reason that we have a lot of pain and discomfort, from physical pain, but mental pain as well. I mean, because there's stats when you read books about neuroscience in the brain of how movement helps you form new patterns or new maps in your brain, especially around pain. And, when you're in pain, you don't want to move, which, because you're trying to heal up, but sometimes you can get locked in that immobility and you have this fear of movement, and then you do even less of it. So, I think that getting people to move more is the answer, because we've got more technology than ever before in the world. We've got more information than ever before in the world. And you can go on and Google back pain. Let's talk about that one, for instance. How many books and research studies and this and this and this, but yet the percentages are not going down. They're actually going up or holding steady. So why is that? So to me, I think it's because we're moving less and less. And with the technology of today, which is fantastic. I mean, think about how much the human race in the world has changed in the last 10 years for what you can have done for you. You virtually don't have to do anything anymore. And it's going the opposite of that. So with the increase in technology, we actually go the opposite way in regards to our body. I mean, I think my primal movement change is that. Primal means going back to how we used to move. I mean, just moving is making you primal. I mean, it really is. So to get into a few movement patterns that can make all the difference in the world of unleashing these shackles, these brakes that you have on your body and your mind and your spirit. I mean, it's very, very powerful. I mean, people think, it's just movement. But to me, movement is life, right? What's the opposite of movement? You're dead. I mean, that's not a good thing, right? You don't want to be dead. And the lack of movement is a slow death. So but you feel invigorated and everything ignites and lights up when you move. And if you can do some type of movement that you enjoy, that's the key. I mean, a lot of people get into exercise, but they look at exercise as something that they hate. It's like, I got to go to the gym today. I got to do this. And they go harder, faster, stronger, longer. So you start to have this hate relationship with movement. So if you don't do something that makes you smile or makes you look forward to it, it's not going to be sustainable. And then you're going to end up quitting. And that's the classic New Year's resolution. And I'm going to do this and this and this because this person said it's good. And I'm going to go in there and make myself train all day long, 6 days a week. And I'm going to throw up and all these crazy things. But after a while, you're like, your body says, hey, this kind of sucks, man. This is no fun. I don't want to do that. So then you quit. And the idea is I'd rather you find something that lights your fire. To me, it's dancing. I mean, I could dance all damn day long. And it's fun. It's based in human nature. And it's something I do every day. So, I mean, it's good stuff.
I wish I could dance, Barry. Maybe you could teach me how to dance sometime.
Well, that's the key, man. I mean, you dance by yourself, then you're always great.
One of the new initiatives in our office is we're starting to have more and more classes. We have a Tai Chi class. We have a Pilates class. We're soon to start a yoga class just to get more of our patients just moving in different ways or moving or exercising because so many people have so many barriers to exercise. But if we can have it right in our office at a set time at a reasonable price with a fantastic instructor, we're seeing really great things in our office.
Oh, yeah, that's wonderful. That's great to hear. I love to have you have variety there too. I mean, exactly. I think the key is variety. For the longest time, we get locked into one type of thing. That maybe because you gravitated towards it and you enjoy it and that's all you want to do. But the body needs to have this holistic approach to it. So I used to be I freely talk about this all the time. Is in my early days, I was a teenager and I was very overweight, introverted, shy, fat. I mean, you think about the classic movie of the fat kid with glasses who was stuck with himself and everybody picked on him. That was me. And I became empowered through bodybuilding. And then once I saw how I felt with that and how I looked with that and how people reacted to me differently, well, then that's all I did, right? Because I wanted more of it and because I got really good at it. And then I felt uncomfortable sometimes doing things outside of that. But I started to get injured a lot because I was just doing one type of movement, like movement pattern. And I was in my 20s and I was moving like I was in my 40s and getting hurt all the time. And I'm like, well, something's not right here. And now I just turned 49. And I move better and feel better than I ever have in my life because I still do bodybuilding, but I also do other things. I mean, I hike, I swim, I get some running in every now and then. I do yoga. I do a lot of body weight movement stuff down on the ground, just using your own body against gravity. I mean, that's one of the best rehab tools you have is just controlling your own body against gravity, which is always pushing down on you. That's one of the things that my program is designed to do is to just help you get better control of your body against the forces pushing on it all day long. And gravity. Once I began to do that, I mean, aches and pains started to go away. And then I realized that I didn't even need to get rehab on myself. I mean, I'm in the rehab world, so I can get it anytime I want. But I found that I didn't need to get it as much because I just made more of a holistic, well-rounded approach to movement. And that's what I want for people. Right,
absolutely. Now, you teach all around the world. Are there any really new current trends that you're starting to see with both chiropractors, other type of body workers, and patients in general?
You mean in the United States as compared to other places in the world, or just in general?
In general, just what's the hottest thing? What's the most current trend in what you do?
Well, I mean, I can tell you, it's definitely starting to go more towards people understanding that they've got to do more than just machine-based exercise. So that's probably one of the greatest things and the most exciting thing that I'm seeing because, that's great. I mean, I want to get people into the gym, right, and starting to use equipment, because maybe they have to have the motivation from a trainer, which is always fantastic to work with, especially when you're new to fitness, to have an experienced professional and coach to motivate you and guide you to make sure you don't get hurt. But then there's a big trend over the last few years of more and more people just getting outside, getting off of equipment, which is really nice to see. So you don't sit, for instance, and do a bench press or a row, that actually getting off those equipment and then using weights or bands or ropes and stuff like that. So you're using your own body as a tool, for instance. So it's nice to see that growing, because sometimes you get stuck. This better than anybody. You're in this circle of people that know the information that you know, because that's how you came to know it, right? I mean, you learned it from other people. And then whenever I teach, I really make a big point of this, is that sometimes we take for granted how powerful the little things are that we already know. And we think that other people know it. It's called the curse of knowledge, like something very simple. Like, well, I know that if my ankle doesn't have a good range of motion in there, it's going to affect my back or my shoulder. And there's this really easy way to help increase the mobility in your ankle. And if I talk to somebody in the training world and they're like, I already know that, it's always new to somebody who doesn't know it yet. And we need to remember that. Like, I constantly have people say to me that the video that you put out or this thing that you did completely changed my life. And I'm like, it was just my simple ankle mobility YouTube video from 5 years ago, and then they leave a message and they're crying to say, thank you very much. So that's what I try to get across to people is, don't ever take for granted the things that you know, and sharing them with another person, how they can absolutely positively change their life. And those fundamental things is another trend that I'm seeing people get back to, is just basic push, pull, twist, bend, rotate. I mean, primal patterns of movement. The fundamentals are what make any person a champion or get you on the path to mastery. And the hard part is that fundamental stuff is usually boring for most people. They're like, I've done this before. Do I have to do it again? I mean, can I get onto something exciting and crazy? And, any champion and any master will tell you, the only way you're going to get to that point is from mastering those fundamentals and finding a way to do them better each time with slight variations or variability to that. Deadlifting is one of my favorite movements to do. And I could find umpteen ways to make deadlifting a variability for you so you'll never get bored, but you're still sticking with that fundamental pattern of hinging at your hips, throwing your ass back and not bending at your low back, which is what most people do, and why they hobble into our office, right?
Right. Couldn't agree more. Now, our audience loves take-homes and action items. What could people do that are listening to affect their lives immediately? And I know you've already touched upon them. Even if you reiterate what you said, it's important. What can people do today to start changing their life and their motion and their motion patterns?
Well, I think the first one is making the decision that you want to and that you're going to, right? You have to set this goal for yourself and write it down. And people say, oh, it's going to talk about goals again. Well, I mean, people do that because it works. You have to have some target to go to. But I've also learned over the years that we tend to get overwhelmed, right? And when we get into something and you want to help somebody get onto a different path, you just get overloaded with information. There's so much information out there that people are just like, I don't even know which way to go. Right? I mean, should I go left? Should I go? This guy says go left. This guy says go right. And they're like, get confused. So I try to make it very, very simple. And one is just to commit to get some movement in every single day of your life. 15 to 20 minutes every day is all you need. It's small increments to do, because I've just seen it through human nature over the years, is that going into the gym for an hour and a half, 3 days a week, you're not going to get nearly as much as if you do something for 20 minutes, 7 days a week for that. Even just some small movement pattern that you do, because you'll just get burnt out over time. So I usually have people wake up in the morning and you have your goal, you have your manifesto on a Post-it note that you can see is just to move more today is what you'll look at. And then, because I'm an old school man, Post-it note, right? Or you can put it on your phone or your iWatch, whatever, that you want something to vibrate. I usually tell people when they wake up in the morning, I have them do some very, very simple movements. It's easy. So it's what I call core 4. So before you even get out of bed, you gotta do some breathing, diaphragmatic breathing. So you're lying in bed, you wake up, and then all you got to do is breathe in through your nose and then inflate your diaphragm, your belly, and all around through your back, so you don't breathe in through your lungs. And then you just exhale out through your mouth very lightly, usually taking about 4 seconds to go each direction. And just do like 4 nice, deep diaphragmatic breaths. If you're not familiar with diaphragmatic breaths, you could just look it up on the internet and see some great examples and learn more about it. So that'll just get your whole body primed for the day and moving. And then second, after you do that, you get your 4 breaths in, 1, 2, 3, 4, very simple. Then you're going to look over on your nightstand, and you're going to take the glass of water that you left there before you went to sleep, and you're going to drink 1 glass of water. So you're going to start the day off well hydrated, because most people are in a perpetual state of dehydration. So slam the water down before your coffee. Okay, and then from there, I want you to just get up. And then when you stand up, all you're going to do is just separate your legs about shoulder width apart, put a slight bend in your knees, and just slowly twist to your left side, slowly twist to your right side with your arms out like a helicopter. Do left, right, just 4 repetitions. Nice and simple and easy. And then the 4th one, all you got to do from there is I have people just do nice, very simple, easy, mini squats. Just your legs are in the same position, and all I want you to do is just envision throwing your butt back so you're trying to hit the wall or the bed behind you, and then just squat down a little bit and come back up and just do that 4 times. I mean, you're already kick-started off on the day with positive habits, but you'll be able to do that series of movements right there literally within 2 minutes, and then you're done. And then what that'll do is that primes your brain, that primes your nervous system, everything for more of that during the day. So simple.
I love the simplicity. I love that it can only take 2 minutes, and I'm going to start that tomorrow. I have my own routine, but I could definitely add this in for 2 minutes. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
now,
2 minutes is better than 0, right?
Yeah.
So everybody says, "Wow, I don't have the time." I mean, it just takes a little bit. Then all of a sudden, you start to feel better, and you're like, "Man, I'd like more of that." That's good, right?
Yes, absolutely. Now, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Perry, you have a book coming out, right?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I just inked the deal to have my first book published, which I'm very, very excited about. A chance to bring what I've been doing for the last 15 years out to everyone. So it's something that I'm working on now, and it's probably going to be out in about 8 months or so. So I've got to finish the final copy, and then we've got a lot of pictures to go in the book. So it's going to be a book based on the thing that I love talking about, which is movement and empowering people to move better and move more, and also some easy ways to look at where you are now to see where you want to be going. So, the title may change as we kind of adopt the pictures to the content, but the tentative title on it is a quote that I began to use last year a lot, and I just noticed how much it resonated with people when I used that quote. And then also, I think I may have used it on the pain podcast thing that we had done, and it's called "Pain is a Request for Change." So that's the big top of the title. And then it's all about movement. So I contend that if you change movement, you change your life. Total of the title is "Pain is a Request for Change. Change how you move, you change your life." And the easiest thing that you can change is how you move.
I love the title. Well, is it okay if we have you back when the book is released?
Oh, of course. You know me. I mean, you probably noticed the hardest thing to do is to get me to shut up. I mean, you ask one question and he's like, damn, I want to come back like 10 minutes later. He's still going. Because I really love talking about this stuff. And I love to go out and teach because I truly believe that moving can change your life and change the world. And if I can just have one person that I reach, that they get that message and they start to move a little differently or move a little more, especially if they're in pain, because I've been there. I know it's hard, that I truly believe you can change the world. And so when people say, what's your goal? Why are you writing a book? Why do you go teach? It's a very simple answer. I want to change the world. That's why.
Now, how can our audience get in touch with you?
Very simple. You can type in on the internet my business name of Stop Chasing Pain. StopChasingPain.com is my website. That will link you once you're there to all of my podcasts that I've done over the years and all of my social media stuff, as well as my teaching schedule that's coming up all over the world. And then you'll have more updates about the book as well when that comes closer, and some videos and stuff like that will be coming out with it. So that's probably the easiest way, and you'll definitely find some stuff on there to keep you busy reading for a little while.
We really appreciate the time you've given us today. If anybody out there wants to hear more or another interview that I did with Dr. Perry, you can go to www.thepainreliefproject.com. And Perry, do you have any last words?
Oh, no, man. I want to just thank you so much for having me back on. Thank all of your listeners for taking the time out of your life to listen to me talk about what I love. But it's pretty much what I tell everybody, and it's on all of my shirts, is just to move smarter, which means just be body aware of what you're doing, be mindful of what you're doing, and move better. Once you are doing that, then you're automatically going to move a little bit better. So if you move smarter and you move better, well, then the third one's easy. You just feel great. So that's what I want people to do. Move smarter, move better, feel great.
That's great. That's great. Thanks again, Dr. Perry Nickelston. I appreciate it. My name is Dr. Noah DeCoyer, your co-host, and you are listening to the Beyond Your Wildest Dreams podcast. If you like what you heard today, please share this with your friends and family. Encourage them to subscribe on iTunes. Thank you. And as my oldest son Hayden says, be awesome and never unawesome.